Hey everyone, welcome back to Cast Iron Conjure. And as you can see from the title, we are going to be talking about fixing our spirit's a plate and what that actually means. Now, fixing a spirit's plate. In my last video, I did go into detail about what it means to fix and the difference between fixing and dressing. And now, fixing a candle is attaching it to a spirit. Fixing a plate is a little bit different. You're actually offering, okay? You're offering. It's attached to that spirit just the same because it's offered up to them. And I will say this, to offer is to willfully give, okay? And there's a difference between an offering and a sacrifice, and I will be revisiting that in another video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And offerings come in different packages. The way that I'm doing it here is I'm offering up a food offering. There are plenty of ways to offer, but this is the one I'm going to share with you today. And this particular spirit that I'm working with, Santisima Muerte, a beautiful spirit. She enjoys her apples, and she enjoys a bougie apple. Okay, I'm gonna say it like that, a bougie apple. So I'm going to feed into her. I'm going to pour back into her because this spirit always is there for me. So I'm not going to dismiss that by ignoring pouring back into her. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to save these seeds. I'm going to definitely save the seeds. She gets the whole apple. I'm going to cut this apple up fully, and then we're going to dress this apple up for her. And there are plenty of ways to work with spirits in this regard. Okay, so when you're actually trying to feed back into a spirit, the spirits enjoy any type of admiration, respect, love. Then if you're in the religious aspect of this, worship. Okay, fear, that's another way to acknowledge a spirit, and they will feed off of that. So a lot of you probably are feeding into spirits that you probably aren't even aware of, but it's happening. Just because you're not aware of it doesn't mean it's not happening. Okay. And this is the place in your work, like when you're just beginning, when you're setting up and you're in the process of creating an offering. This is when you want to let the spirit know that this is for you. This is when you start calling on their name. You start speaking to them. This is where chants and songs and rhythms come into play. Okay, so if you don't know how to summon a spirit, I'm going to tell you a real quick, easy way to bring that atmosphere to you. Start calling on them. Start talking to them. Create a space for them. Put on that music that they like. Sing honestly for them. Drink some liquor for them. If you have an altar, pour some liquor out for them. Create the space so they can actually enter. If there's no space for them, if you haven't opened a door for them, how would they be able to enter? So the whole purpose of this is to be honest, truthful, and intentional. Okay, this is not about if it's a beautiful intention or, it doesn't have to be the prettiest thing ever. It just needs to be honest. Now let's go into detail, like why do we feed our spirits? Number one, first, they get big and strong. They become a lot more powerful because they're not thirsty. They're not hungry. We're feeding them so they can become strong. But not only that, it forms a relationship. It forms a connection between you and that spirit. These spirits are aspects of self. Okay, they're fragments of self, not of the human body, but of self. The whole thing. So when we're actually working with these spirits, we're navigating through ourself. So if you neglect it, if you betray it in that sense, like you don't feed into it, of course it becomes shriveled. We don't want that. Okay, so just to catch you guys up, I am offering this to Santisima Muerte. Now I'm offering her up 3 apple seeds, some crushed rose. I have some black cat bones, okay, that take kind of forever to grind up, but I did it. I also have in there pink Himalayan salt. Okay, so that's what I'm mixing up for her, and I'm going to be drizzling honey all over these apples and dressing it with the herbs. Now this is a special mix that I make for her. Sometimes I add in something else, sometimes I don't, but this is what I wanted to make just as an example of how I dress up an offering for her. And every time I do fix them a plate, I always make sure that I give them something to drink as well. Because, like, what if you eating like some cornbread or something and you ain't got no Kool-Aid, nothing? No, they ain't going to have no parched throats. So I'm going to pour some of my famous eclipse water. Only when there's an eclipse do I use this water. It's for feedings, it's for blessings, it's for cleansing rituals. So now I'm just making sure I have it all together for her. And all elements get utilized in my spell work, which is why I added the water, which is why I add the herbs, which is why I add the fruits, and aromatic essences like tinctures, honeys, oils, that things of that nature. And in this time, I'm talking to the spirit. I am communing with that spirit. I am playing music. I'm singing. I'm chanting. I'm doing all of that. I am summoning this particular spirit by working with her, by feeding her, by letting her know how good her plate is going to be, because it all goes back around to symbols. All right, it's always the symbol that matters here. It's not that it's just a whole bunch of apple slices and herbs and honey. It's what it represents in your work, what it represents with the spirit that makes the difference. Okay, it's not just going to be some frivolous thing that just because you read it on a piece of paper somewhere, it's going to work for you. No, the heart, the honesty has to be in your work. Your intent has to be there. Okay. And when I have her perfect candle picked out, I'm going to go ahead and light it up for her. Let her know that it is finished. She is ready to eat.